Okay, so what we're going to do today is like we are going to discuss about GitHub. I know it's too early, but I believe this is the right time so that you guys get enough time to experiment and learn more about GitHub. Okay, I'll give you the basic steps and what is GitHub and what is the intention behind GitHub, why it is so popular, and we'll try to upload couple of one or two projects, dummy projects, and and we'll try to check in and modify, update and push a commit and create a branches. We'll do all this stuff. um, and like I mentioned, I sent you guys the basic programming and questions and moderate interview questions. So go back and finish them. Once we finish the class, go back and finish them and upload them as soon as you can. Okay. Okay, thank you. Let's start. So GitHub, let me go first. So here, right, in this diagram, if you observe, GitHub fits into here. GitHub is as part of version control. It is one of the source tool. Okay, version control tool. One of the version control tool. Earlier we have a ClearKS, CVS, SVN, and GitHub. Okay, so one of this version control system is GitHub. So why it is what are the other ones? Okay, let's go back to the class. So basically, what is this version control, right? The first thing that comes into mind, like as and when we talked about Git and we are saying Git is a version control system. What is version control? See, imagine you are working in a team of 10, and all of the 10 developers are working on the same project. So when we say a project is a collection of an application. Okay, an application is a collection of number of files, right? Like we wrote just now like around 3 to 4 files, like, right? They are almost five Java files we wrote, right? So like that, 10 developers are working parallelly. An expert developers who is having expertise, so they keep on writing Java programs, right, to develop an application. Like it's a Bank of America application, it's a Capital One application, it's a Tesla application, whatever it is. So every time somebody finish their program, they can't send it to someone and collect it somewhere and keep it together. And if somebody if more than one guy is also trying to write the same, saying trying to modify the same file with their own logics, with their own requirements, then it's really challenging and really annoying, right? So it's always good to have a centralized repository, centralized place where everybody has, it's a source system, like that is where you get all the data, that is where you push all your data, so that as and when you finish, go ahead and push your data into the server, that repository system, and then whenever you want the latest version, go and pull the data from there. With that way, you can manage your application. Okay. Second thing is, let's say you wrote an awesome program and you pushed your changes onto server. Um, so let's say this is our server. Okay. And the different developers trying to modify it. Okay. D1, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3. Okay, trying to modify, started the program here and push those changes here. Okay, and developer 2 accessed those changes from there, and then he added some more logic here and pushed the changes here. Same thing, developer 3 pulled all the changes that has been there sitting in the server that has been pushed by D1 and D2. He took all these changes that has been there and he modified something else and pushed it. Right? So this push and pull will happen, this push into and pull will happen all the time. Right? Every day you are going to do, every day you're going to do, multiple checkouts, multiple check-ins. So how do you track them, right? Like, suddenly the changes that has been done by D3 broken the system. Whatever the application that is running fine with these changes, so he did something wrong and those changes broke the complete system. So how do you revert them? Revert them so that the server will go to it's the state where your application is running fine. That is removing D3 changes. Right? All these kind of operations can be managed and answered by version control systems. Okay, so earlier we had ClearCase, CVS, SVN, GitHub. So ClearCase, CVS, SVN are the third parties, and they are not open sourced. First thing, and second thing is like they are not as sophisticated as GitHub. GitHub makes our life so easy and it is open sourced. Anybody like you can have your own accounts, you can write your own code and keep it online. And if company want, let's say GitHub is like a open source system where it is running like this, and let's say Syed want to one GitHub folder and he want to maintain all his projects, so you will get his folders location like a, so you can use push pull or whatever you want, you can do it. So let's say Bank of America want some servers, so you can give you the Bank of America certain um, certain setup, certain location, a certain piece of storage, then Bank of America resources can go and pull and push whatever the projects. You can keep as many projects as you want inside. Okay, when you are asking what kind of project you want, you need to be Bank of America customer, developer, and then you need to ask for the corresponding class access. Make sense? Okay, so having said that, let's start writing the looking at the program and how to do GitHub process. So I'll go to github.com. All you need to do is can I pick something else or okay, go ahead and sign up with okay. or else we can use whatever it is there. Where do you create an asset? Go ahead and sign up, like, whatever the email address that you have. It's a regular way of registration. Any website that you do, then you will get a verification code and you confirm it, then you will get the username password like this. Okay, once you sign in, you will see a project like this. Okay, start a project, read the guide, all the stuff, new repository. Okay, so what is this? This is where all your stuff is gonna be, all your stuff is going to save. Okay, so let's say I'm going to create a new repository. Okay, let's create a new repository. New repository is nothing but new project. Okay, so I'm going to click a new project. Batch. Okay, I'll say in Bell Info, this is the batch 6. Okay, whether you want to make it private is they will charge. If you don't want to give access to everybody, then they will charge. Okay, if you, that is something like, all the organizations, all the people, like whoever want to restrict and protect their whatever they are doing, then they will go for private. Public is free and anybody can access. Okay, and so create a repository. Don't do anything, just to create a repository. So now you see a couple of steps here. It is saying blah 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 blah, right? So what we can do, batch 6 is here. Okay, let's keep this guy with us. This is the URL location, github.com. In that github.com, bunch of users will be there. One of them is Bell Java 2017, and the project name is batch6.git. .git is the extension. Okay, so there are 3 different ways you can push your changes that has been there in your system. Okay, what we can do, we can take this piece and keep it here. Okay, now I hope you guys installed Git. I hope I mentioned GitHub related installation. If not, go ahead and install GitHub plugins. Now, it's not a big deal, just look at around and you can find it. I'll go to command. Here, if my GitHub is installed properly, what I will get to know is git -version will result. Okay, so I installed a version 2.11.0 Windows 1. Okay, so now what I need to do is I want to check in something called create a folder called batch 6. Okay, I'll create a folder called batch 6. So I'll go to that location. You have nothing there. Okay, so we have nothing there, right? So now I will say anytime you can do git init. So this is the way that you initialize. Okay, you want whatever the folder that you have, that project to be started tracking, and git through GitHub. That project need to be, that batch 6 need to be started tracking with GitHub. Okay, so git init. Okay, I'll just copy the same statement, git init. So what it will do, it will initialize your folder with git. It's not established a connection. Okay, so let's say this is the GitHub. Now we created a project here, a dummy project, right? Create a new repository called batch 6, and After that, it provided a couple of statements how to establish a connection between your local system to here. So here what we're doing, we created another folder called batch 6, and here what I'm doing, I'm conveying this folder that I'm going to start using Git. So Git init. Okay, so initialized empty Git repository. Okay, now there are bunch of commands. I like to use most of the times Git commands. Sometimes some people use, like, tools. There has been available for Git1 or different kind of tools are there. You can look around. They are also free. So some of them are free, so you can use them as well to do all these things, but it's better to learn the basics from the command line. So now your folder got initialized. Nice. So what it is saying, add a readme.md. We'll just take this one as is. Generally any project will have a readme, which means what that project does. It gives you an idea. If somebody reads that file, it should give you an idea what the project that you are doing. Okay, it's like a higher level overview. Okay, so what it is saying, git add readme. Readme did not match any files. So in your folder batch 6 you don't have any files. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll create a folder. Okay, no, sorry, we created some project. Okay, first program, anything, like, it's no need to be a Java file, it no need to be a .NET file, any file. Okay, first program dot. Okay, now what I'll do, git status. What it gives you, what is there inside. So let me show you. Git status, it gives you what is there in that folder. Okay, there is a program called first program.txt. Earlier it was not showing, right? So let me show you. Like, if I remove this, right now if I go ahead and run same command, see, on branch master initial commit, nothing to commit. As and when I create a new folder, new file, it shows something. Anything, folder also, it works fine. Okay, so now when I come here and git status, so it shows first program. Okay, and it is saying first program. So it is saying there is one file. You initialized this folder to be a git based. Okay, so now as and when you do some changes, that will be started tracking inside. Okay, so when you say git status, what is there instead? So you are asking git, give me status, what is there, what is there, any files that need to be, I need to be pushed into server, is there any files I need to not tracking or something. Okay, so we haven't established a connection here again still. So it is saying initial commit untracked files, because you just created this program, you haven't communicated to the git anything. You getting my point? You created just a file and you haven't communicated to the git that there is a file, but git is smart enough to determine there is a file, but git is saying there is a file but it is yet untracked. How do you make it as a track file? Then you need to say git add first program.txt. Okay, so now it comes to git status again. Check what is the status now. See, once it got started, the color also changes. Okay, so initial commit on the branch master, I'll tell you the branches. Okay, initial commit, changes to be committed. This is the new file. It started tracking. Okay, so while if you want to commit, what you need to do is git. When you're committing, you need to let what the changes are, higher level, what the changes are. You need to let the git know, and everybody knows that, like, what the changes that you are committing. That gives an idea if somebody else, like, I checked in this program and you try to access this program, right? So you don't know what changes went in. If somebody want to look at it, they need to understand by reading certain statements what changes you pushed into server, right? So what is the statement is git commit -m. -m is to write the statement, comments. My first learning on Git. Okay. So there will be something like, oh my god, blah 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 will be there. You don't need to worry about it. So what it is saying is one file is changed, 0 insertions, 0 deletions. Okay. So if you say here now, I'm clearing it, git status again. You don't need to check it, just want to, okay. It says on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree is clean. Okay. So now what happened is you modified a file here, you created a file, okay, you created a file here, and you initialized with git, and you tracked with git, and you made that comment why you are checking this file. You made a comment. Okay, now all is pending is you need to establish a connection with your server. You need to establish a connection with your server. First time you are establishing, right? So what it is saying is git, if you say git push, okay, push into the server, it says it doesn't understand first. Okay, so I don't understand what changes are you doing. So no configured push destination. I didn't know the destination as of now. Okay, so it giving you some suggestions. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'll go back here. I'll say this one, git remote add origin and my project location. Okay, git remote add origin and my project location. Now with this way, what you did, you haven't pushed the change, you just, okay. Now what happened with this statement? You established a connection. You haven't pushed your file. The file is still here. The file is still here. Okay. You just established a connection with this statement. Git remote add origin. This is the git location. So now this project has been referred to this location, and this is the project. Okay. The tracking has been established. Now again git status on branch master, nothing to commit. Let's say git push. See, first time, right? So first time what we will say, git push hyphen set same command. This one, take it, git push -u origin master. Okay, it will ask username, password. I don't remember. Well, 2017. Done. See, now what happened? Whatever the changes that has been there here in your local has been pushed onto the server. So let's see whether it's available on the server or not. So this is the project, right? Let's click on the project once. See, your first program is there. Even if you try to access this from your system, you can see this first program because it is a public folder. Make sense? Any doubts as of now? Okay, so what and all we did? First one is you can create a project here, or else you can create a project and start getting it all the steps. Okay, whatever the steps, we will do that one also. So once you create a project here, create a new repository and name it, and here you can take the same name or you can take a different name as well. So create a project here and initialize the project. Step 2, initialize the project. Step 4, start adding the files, whatever the add files, whatever the modification files that you want to track and that you want to maintain. Then commit those changes. So when you are commit those changes, doesn't push into the server. Okay, remember, commit those changes doesn't push into the server. It just, whatever the changes that you have, that you modified, will be tracked through this commit, whatever the comment that you mentioned. Then establish a connection between your local server and local system and server. Establish a connection. Then push your changes. Push your changes. Make sense? So these are the first basic steps. One time, any project. Yep. So let's try to modify a program, same program. Let's try to modify and create another program also. Okay, where is that program? There are a few more things we need to do. So let me open this file. Okay, in server also it should be empty, right? When I try to open this, it is an empty file. Okay, so what I will do, blah 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 blah, and save it. This file I am going to save it. Here, if I try to open it, there is no changes whatever you did. Why? Because you haven't pushed those changes into the server, right? Okay, so now what you need to do again, cls git status still. So as and when you modify something, it goes back to modified state. Okay, so now let me try to show you one more thing. Okay, so we are sure that there is one file which is untracked and you did some modifications to this file is tracked, but the modifications, the changes that you introduced, is not tracked, so it is modified file. So let's say I'm going to create another file called second program. Okay, now come back here and see git status. You'll see there is a file called first program that I know it, so but I do some changes, so that is modified. And second program.txt is untracked file. This is untracked file. The first program is tracking file, but there is some modifications. You see the difference? Okay, and I forgot to tell, so as and when you do git init, this folder will be created. This is the folder that will be used by git server, git application, git plugin. Try to track all the changes that you do within this. Okay, if you create a new folder, okay, let's say subfolder. Okay, so now if you come back here again, git status, So there is a program, no changes to commit. Okay, as and when you do third program. Okay, let's say git status. So this shows there is first program, second program, subfolder. Inside folder there will be something, it is not showing because subfolder itself not tracking, so it cannot able to go inside and check what is there inside, right? So what all you need to do is now git status, yes, and git first step is git add dot is add whatever the changes that has been there since my earlier commit. Okay, start tracking whatever the changes that has been there since my commit. What does it mean? Like you start tracking second program, first program, subfolder, inside subfolder there will be third program, all these things start tracking. Okay, if you say git status again, there is one modified file, there is one new file, there is one new file. So now it's tracking. What you want, if you want to push those changes, first you need to do a commit, git commit -m. This is my second commit. Okay, so now git status, then say now if you read it on branch master, we'll talk about branches. Okay, your branch is ahead of origin master. See, origin, whenever you see origin, treat it as server, treat it as your GitHub server. Okay, origin, so what it is saying, now read, your branch is ahead of origin master by one commit. So what it is saying is your local branch is ahead of origin master. So your local branch is, there is more changes in your local branch than on the server by one commit. That is one commit that we added, right? So use git push to publish your local changes. So what we need to do, git push. Very easy this. Once you 1 or 2 times if you do, there is no rocket science. You don't need to confuse. Okay. Bell Java 2017. Now come back and refresh it here. See, first program, second program, subfolder, third program. Right? We just now we push 2 commits, right? So if you see here, there are 2 commits. If you go here, my first learning on Git, and this is my second commit. So if you click on my first learning on Git commit, you will see the number of files you modified. One file, one changed file. If you click on it, first program. If you click on it, nothing is there. Nothing is there, right? So let's go back. I'll show you one more time. 2 second commit. This is my second commit, right? If you click on it, 3 changed files. Okay, when I click on it, first program. So first program you modified something. You modified something. Second program, third program. These 2 are empty, right? You getting my point? There are 3 files modified. So this gives us some clarity. With this commit what changes came in, with this commit what changes came in. Okay, so you can differentiate between those things and you can see, oh, why they introduced these changes, what is the use of these changes. Okay, so now we learned about pushing the changes into the Git. Let's see how to push the changes that has been modified onto the server by someone else into your local. Let's assume, okay, somebody else modified the second program. At this moment, this is access to me only, right? You see what I'm saying? but let's assume somebody is modified. When somebody is modified, what they will do in their local, they modified in their local and they push it into this branch, right? So as there is no other account available here, I'm going to directly modify here. Okay, what I'm going to do, somebody else modifications, blah blah blah. Okay, so commit changes. Okay, so these changes are there in the server now. Okay, but are those changes are available in my folder? Are these changes available in my folder? No, right? How do I get those changes into my local? So every time what you need to do, all you need to do is git pull. See, counting 3 objects, compressed objects, untracked files, one first program. These are the changes. Okay, first program. In first program there are some changes, one file changed. So let me open that file again. So now you see somebody else modified blah 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 blah. You got my point. So git pull. If something you want to pull into your system, that is git pull. If you want to push in something into your system, something into server, git push. And if you want to, so like that, we have a bunch of comments. If you want to track files, git add, and if you want to specify files, file name, or else if you want to track everything that has been modified since the last modification, then git add. It will add everything, it will start tracking. Okay, initialize git, then git init. Okay, git add, and then if you want to commit some changes, git commit with some comment -m, whatever the comment that you want here, and for commit changes. But commit doesn't push the changes into the server. Okay, remember that. And then git first time, when you are doing first time, these two lines help you to, actually this line help you to track, establish a connection with server. Okay, then git push -u origin master, establish a connection with branch. So let's go back to the branch concept. Let's finish that. Okay, then the regular thing, git push for establish a connection with a branch and push your changes. Git push just second time onwards, right? So push your change in order to push your changes, git push, get the latest changes from server, git pull. There will be hundreds of commands. Okay, these are the basic ones that we are starting with. Okay, next is here, little confusion you may feel, but don't think too much. Okay, there will be a different branches for the same project we can create on the server. Okay, default the branch name is master. The default branch name is, when you create, the default branch name is master. So if you look at here, this is the project, you will see branch name master. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So you want to keep track of multiple branches. You want to keep track of multiple branches. Why we need to keep track of multiple branches? Let's say you people are developing, like, an application called mobile app. Okay, Bank of America mobile app, and everything is ready. You push those changes into the server. So now they are in the master. Okay, and then you started enhancing that Bank of America app. What you need to do? You need to start coding again and modify accordingly. If you do on the same branch, if something goes wrong on the production for the release that you did, then if you want to do any fixes, and at the same time you try to modify for the new feature, there will be conflict, right? So for that reason, they will maintain, like, production ready branch, development branch. And another thing is, like, let's say there are 10 developers already working, and if you simply push changes into your server, and is some new resource joined, if you directly pushed into the server, if there is something wrong and it breaks all the 10 resources system, and what happens is, and everybody's time is getting wasted because of some new resource who joined and started pushing these changes into the server. Instead of that, what they will do, create your own branches. Once you create your own branches, you request someone to review those changes by creating a pull request. Create your own branch and create a pull request from your branch to the branch that you want to merge, so that some experienced developer will look at your code. If it is everything is right, then he will merge those changes into the right branch, whatever the branch that's supposed to go into. With that way, the branches will help. Okay, the branches will play a very important role. Okay, now we have a branch name called master. So let's say I want to create another branch called develop. Okay, LOP. Okay, as develop is not there, it will say created branch develop. Okay, so develop branch also created. So even if I go to master branch, same folder, same project. If I go to develop, same folder, same branch. Okay, now here in your local, same thing. Logical, it's a logical, not physical. Okay, remember, here you have, now we created here master branch. Master branch is there with the same 3 files, and develop also there with the 3 files. You remember the default file that will create is master branch, right? The default branch that is created is master. So in your local also, the connection is with master. The branch that you have here also master, local branch. Okay, logically, not physically, doesn't create, oh, master branch and keep all the files, develop branch, keep all the files. It doesn't do. Logically tracks. Okay, one second. Then now let's see in what branch you are in, right? How do you check? Git branch, it will show master. So star is the one that is current branch. In your local you have only one branch, right? So now there is another branch called develop also there available in server. You want to get the develop, right? So what you can do, first you need to create your local branch. So how do you create? Git check out -b when you are creating develop, switch to brand new branch. So now when I try to git branch, see, earlier it was master, now it became develop. whatever the changes that you do, that will happen in your local develop branch. Okay, if you want to switch the branch back to master, what you need to do, git checkout, this time no minus b. Okay, minus b used only when you try to create a new branch in your local. Okay, as master is already available, you don't need to create minus, you don't need to create again, you just need to switch to master. So now if you try create branch master, now again go back to develop, so then git checkout, this time no minus b, just develop, switch to branch develop, right? Okay, now you whatever you do changes, that will be tracked through your local develop branch. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say here these are the changes are there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll add one more change called develop changes. Okay, develop changes. Okay, I'll do all this change all the places just to show you the difference. Okay, now here come back, clear, git status, first program, second program, subfolder, there are some changes. Okay, what I will do, same thing, git add, first track it and commit it with your comment. I want to push these changes, these or else these are develop changes for blah program. Okay, clear, git status. So now when you say git push, it says there is no tracking. This is important, right? So what you did is you created another folder called develop here. You did modified files, you added files, you commented that file, but when you try to push the changes, it says there is no track. You haven't established a connection with this develop branch, right? So first what you need to do, you need to establish. So it gives you the command easily there and then itself. So all you need to do is same, type it as is, git push set, this is one time only, set upstream origin develop well Java. Generally it will store, but for some reason it's not storing. Only one time it will ask generally username password. Awesome. So now go back to the server. Here, so it will be on the default master. If we go here, check the commits, 3 commits, right? There are 3 commits. Create a first program. This is my second commit. My first learning on Git. Now this is on master, right? So when I switch to develop, you can see one more extra commit. These are develop changes, blah blah blah. So whatever the changes that you did, only available in develop branch, not on master branch. So if you go back to the master branch, you don't see the changes, right? So now let's say you want to push those changes onto the master as well from your develop. So what you did is like, now same way, develop master and develop. Okay, here first time when you create, by default it will establish with master, right? So okay, here there is also, you created a develop local, right? So you know how to switch between these two, and you know same files will be here and here, and when you modify here and you establish a connection with the develop here, So whenever you switch branch here and you try to pull, these changes will come. Now the changes are available here, the changes are not available here, the changes are available here. So now you are ready to move these changes to master. Let's say, how do you push those changes from develop to master on the server side? Creating the pull request, PR. They will say PR. When you join, just they will say create a PR, pull request. Okay. So what you need to do? So whenever you do some changes like this, it will show. Okay, so just create a pull request. Okay, compare and pull request. It will show base branch, in which branch you want to merge, and from where. From develop. From develop you want to merge onto master. Okay, what are the changes? These are the develop changes for blah 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 program. Okay, create a pull request. When you create a pull request, this will be sent to everybody whoever registered this pull request. Okay, so if I go back and try to enter here, this is the pull request one. You can see those changes. So okay, there are some changes, one commit. Okay, oh, these are develop changes. Okay, what are the file changes? Okay, so he's doing changes in first program, second program, subfolder. Okay, everything looks good. So let me go back to conversation, and he will say merge the pull request. What he is doing is when he clicks on it, the changes will be pushed onto master branch as well, not onto your local. He just pushed onto master. So from there you need to get it later into your master whenever you want. Okay, so merge pull request. After this you can see those changes in confirm merge. Awesome. So now if you look at here, in master there are 5 commits. These are the develop branch changes also be pushed, and with this pull request, the changes that has been there in the develop also can moved into master, right? So now see, it's interesting. Let me show you. Git branch, you are in develop. Okay, so now if you go back and check your program, let's say third program, develop changes, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I will switch git. How do you switch into master? I want to check git checkout master. Okay, I switch to master. If you want to double check, just git type git branch. It will show master in which branch. Okay, now if I go back and open this program, it will show empty, because all you did is you merged into this master. This need to be pulled into your local master. So what you need to do? What is the step? Git pull. Now go back here and check the changes are available. You see the way it tracks, that the way the program moves around. It may be little confusing in the beginning, but keep practicing this and go back and create your own accounts, do all the stuff whatever you want, then it's not a big deal. Okay, if you guys have any doubts, let me know.